Hey everybody, I'm Dave with the Guitar Tricks channel, here with another great lesson and tip of the week. Make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Let's check out that tip of the week. Always check the tuning of your guitar before you play anything. And no matter how good you are, if even one string's a little bit out of tune, it just doesn't sound good. Let me show you an example of that. That sounds pretty darn bad. Now, one string can make all the difference in the world. I just had one string out of tune a little bit. Let me tune it back up. Okay, now here's the same rhythm. Wow, that's a lot better. So see what the difference just a little tuning will do? So keep your tuner, your electronic tuner handy. Keep it in your case. Every time you pick up your guitar, run through the tuning real quick, make sure you're in. And even if you use the 5th fret method for tuning, whatever works for you. Get that guitar in tune. Now let's check out the lesson of the week. Sweep picking is a great technique for efficient picking, but it's a little bit tricky, especially if you're a beginner at this. So let me break it down for you. The essence of sweep picking is you're going to move your pick in the same direction across 2 or more neighboring strings. So let's start with this little shape here on the 2nd string 8th fret, 1st string 7th fret. And then just to get a hang of the picking technique, it's 2 downstrokes starting with the 2nd string and then a downstroke on the 1st string. That's the smallest form of sweep picking right there. It's almost like a slow motion downstrum. Okay, now what you want to do is keep the notes separate so they don't ring out over each other. Like that. And then if you watch my right hand, I'm doing 2 downstrokes, but I'm not doing 2 separate downstrokes, rather one consecutive big downstroke like this. Watch my right hand. It just makes one motion through the strings rather than this. So try to get the hang of that and keep the notes separate on your left hand. And once you get the hang of it, you can actually play those 2 notes pretty quick and pretty clean with a little bit of practice. Now let's check out the upstrokes. It's the same thing in reverse. We're going to hold the 1st string 7th fret, do an upstroke on that, and then an upstroke on the 2nd string 8th fret. So 2 ups, consecutive. It's one big upstroke, not 2 separate pick strokes. So think of it as a slow motion upstrum or a slow motion downstrum. And another way to think about this too, I borrowed this from the classical guitar community. They use rest strokes where you have your finger come to rest on the next string even though you're not playing it right yet. So for the rest strokes, you're going to actually rest the pick after you pick the 2nd string, rest it on the 1st string. I'm parked on the 2nd string, so the next thing I need to do is just push my pick through the 1st string. Rather than, if I pick it separate, then I've got to think about putting my pick on the string and then plucking it. It's too much thinking and too much motion right there. So the idea with sweep picking is it's a very economical way of picking. Downstrokes using the rest stroke is just one big down, and upstrokes the same way. When I do the upstroke on the 1st string, I come to rest on the 2nd, so all I have to do is push my pick through the 2nd. Like that. Now let's graduate and add a 3rd string to that. We'll stay in the same position. We're going to have the 3rd string 9th fret, 2nd string 8, and 1st string 7th. And now we're going to do 3 downstrokes from the 3rd string to the 2nd to the 1st. And this is where we start to see the effectiveness and the power of the sweep pick. It gives you 3 consecutive notes that sound very smooth and kind of quick, but you got to work out the coordination between the fretting fingers and your pick so that the notes don't ring out with the chord. We definitely don't want that. We want separation. Okay, and again, I'm using the rest stroke, so I'm just pushing my pick onto the 2nd string. And as I pick the 2nd string, I come to rest on the 1st string. Now let's try it in reverse with the upstrokes. Start with your fingers kind of above the notes, and my first finger's the only one down. Upstroke, Then I flip-flop to the second string, take my index finger off, pick the second string, second finger, and then I pick the third string, the third finger. Takes a little bit of practice to get that coordination thing going, but trust me, it's worth it. Definitely. So at that point, you've got that little sweep shape, and that's an E minor arpeggio. It's very handy to know. And this is kind of a neat little thing too. If you move it up a string, we're going to have a B triad. And you can practice the same technique on strings 4, 3, and 2 with the same shape, but this is a B major triad. And then in reverse, from the second to the third to the fourth string. So see how I work it back and forth? So just work yourself through those shapes and get the hang of that right hand doing one big down strum and then one big up strum. Even though it's 3 separate notes, it's going to be considered as one motion with your pick. That's where you're going to get the benefit of the sweep picking. So work that with a metronome, take it slow, do it in slow motion to practice the mechanics. That's so important. I can't tell you how much that is a value to get it down slowly but perfectly first. And then the next one up a string. So work with that, practice with a metronome, and get those muscle memory, finger skills down, motor skills, and take it slow and be patient with yourself. Well, that's it for this week's channel episode. I hope you learned something new and inspiring that can be used in your own playing. Be sure to check out guitartricks.com/channel for more info and free lessons that'll help you towards your goal of becoming a solid and confident guitar player. And while you're here, hit that button below to subscribe so you won't miss another lesson. I'm Dave with Guitar Tricks. See you next time. Until then, keep those fingers flying.